You don't need 15 different curls to build big arms. In fact, the more exercises you cram into your routine, the more likely you are to mess everything up. I know that sounds backwards, but let me ask you something. How long have you been doing the same arm day routine, expecting different results? Let me guess. Preacher curls for the peak. Hammer curls for lateral thickness. Reverse curls for detail. And somewhere in there, you're hoping your arms will magically grow. Meanwhile, your elbows are getting sore, your shoulders feel tight, and your biceps still look the same. Here's the hard truth. Most of what you've been taught about biceps training is wrong. Not outdated, just flat out wrong. You're not plateauing because you're lazy. You're stuck because you've been chasing volume over strategy, effort over intelligence, sweat over science. But there's another way, a way that works better the older you get. That protects your joints, maximizes each rep, and finally gives you that round, full, dense biceps look you've been chasing since your 20s. And get this, it's not based on hype. It's not a secret workout I made up. It's 5 exercises, just 5. Chosen based on EMG studies, real-world application, and over a decade of coaching lifters who train hard, but don't have hours to waste. And if you're over 40, this is non-negotiable. You don't recover like you used to. One wrong movement can take you out for weeks. You've got less time, more stress, and less room for error. So everything you do in the gym needs to work with your body, not against it. This video gives you that roadmap. Every exercise we're covering today is here for a reason. No fluff, no filler. And later on, I'll show you a technique that can literally double your results without adding a single rep or a single extra workout. Most lifters never figure this out, but when you do, the progress comes faster, the pump hits harder, and the gains finally start to show, even with less volume. So if you're tired of wasting time, if you're ready to train smarter, not harder, and if you want biceps that look just as strong as they feel, you're in the right place. If this is already hitting close to home, hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next might just change the way you train forever. Exercise 1. Barbell curl, the king still reigns. If you could only choose one biceps exercise for the rest of your life, this should be the one. The barbell curl isn't just another lift, it's the foundation. It's the movement that generations of lifters have used to build thick, full arms. Before fancy machines, before isolation techniques, before Instagram arm day reels, this was the move. And guess what? It still works, arguably better than ever. When you curl a barbell with proper form, both heads of your biceps fire together. The long head that gives your arm that stretched, athletic shape, and the short head that adds roundness and front-facing size. You're not just doing curls. You're sculpting mass. You're creating density. You're telling your body, this muscle matters, grow it. Now, here's where most people mess it up. They treat it like a throwaway lift. They load the bar too heavy, start swinging, bouncing, rocking their torso like they're at a concert, and then complain that their arms don't grow. That's not training. That's chaos. The real power of the barbell curl lives in its simplicity. You don't need tricks. You need control. Elbows tucked in, core braced, wrists aligned. You lift with focus. You lower with intention. And when that bar's at the top, you squeeze like your results depend on it. Because they do. Especially the eccentric phase, the lowering portion. That's where you break muscle fibers and force adaptation. Slow that part down. Make it last 3, maybe even 4 seconds. Feel the muscle lengthen under load. That's real tension. That's where real growth happens. And if you're over 40, this is even more important. Your joints aren't as forgiving. Your tendons need more love. That's why the EZ bar can be a game changer. The angled grip keeps your wrists and elbows in a more natural position, which means less pain, more consistency, and longer training life. A smart place to start is with 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Moderate weight, perfect form. And if you want to push it further, add a 2-second pause at the top or finish with a drop set. You'll be shocked at how much you can feel, even without maxing out the plates. But here's the real takeaway. You don't need a new curl variation every week. You need mastery. Because the better you get at this one lift, the more every other biceps exercise starts to work harder. That said, one exercise can only do so much. You've built the base. Now it's time to add shape, depth, and detail. And the next movement? It's going to change the way you see your arms and your forearms. Exercise 2. Hammer curl, the underrated game changer. Let's talk about a move that doesn't just build your biceps. It reshapes your entire arm. The hammer curl might not look flashy. It's not the star of most gym videos, but if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, "Why do my arms still look flat from the side?" This is the fix. Here's why. The hammer curl doesn't just hit the biceps. It targets a deep muscle underneath, the brachialis. When that muscle grows, it pushes your biceps up and out, giving your arm that full 3D look. Thicker, wider, stronger looking, even when your arms are relaxed at your sides. But that's not all. The hammer curl also smashes your forearms, especially the brachioradialis. And let's be real, if your forearms look skinny, your arms never look impressive. This one exercise covers both. Now, let's talk mechanics. Hammer curls use a neutral grip, palms facing each other, which is a blessing for your joints. No wrist strain, no awkward twisting. It's a smoother path of motion, which means less stress on your elbows and tendons, especially important if you're over 40 and starting to feel those little aches more often. But don't let that comfort fool you. This exercise still needs focus. No swinging the dumbbells like you're warming up for a drum solo. You want elbows locked by your sides, controlled movement, and full tension, especially on the way down. One smart technique? Start with 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Use moderate weight and experiment with tempo. 2 seconds up, 1 second squeeze at the top, 4 seconds down. By the time you hit that last rep, your arms will be lit up in the best way. And here's a bonus tip. If your grip is weak or your hands tire out early, this movement is going to help long-term. Strong forearms don't just look better. They improve every other lift in your routine. So yeah, the hammer curl is a silent assassin. It won't get the hype, but it will get the results. And the next exercise? It's gonna lock you into a position where cheating is impossible. And the burn is 100% real. Exercise 3. Preacher curl. Locked in, no escape. This one's a trap, but the good kind. The preacher curl, also known as the Scott curl, does one thing better than almost any other exercise. It isolates your biceps and locks your body into a position where you can't cheat, even if you try. And that's exactly why it works. When you sit on the preacher bench or use the machine version, your upper arms are pinned down, your shoulders are out of the equation, and the only thing left to move the weight is your biceps. That isolation forces every single fiber to do its job, from start to finish. No help from momentum, no swinging, no shortcuts. But here's the key. Preacher curls don't just work your biceps in general, they specifically light up the short head. That's the part of the muscle that gives your arms that round, full look when viewed from the front. It's not just about size, it's about shape. And if your arms feel flat, or you're missing that pop when wearing a t-shirt, this is how you fix that. Form here matters a lot. You want your chest flat against the pad, shoulders slightly pulled back, eyes forward. Curl the weight like you're trying to crush something in the crook of your elbow. And on the way down, slow it down. Feel the stretch. That controlled negative is where the growth happens. Whether you're using dumbbells, a straight bar, or the preacher curl machine, make sure your arms line up with the pad and the resistance. No overextending, no letting the weight drop. Think of it like polishing a sculpture. Slow, precise, intentional reps that refine every detail. Start with 3 sets of 10 to 12. This is a perfect mid to late workout exercise when your biceps are already warmed up and pre-fatigued. That's when this movement hits the hardest and feels unfairly effective. Because sometimes, when you remove all the noise, no momentum, no swinging, no ego, the muscle finally gets the message. It's time to grow. But we're not done yet. You've built the base, you've hit the shape. Now it's time to stretch the muscle in a way you've probably never done before and trigger a whole new level of growth. Exercise 4. Incline dumbbell curl, the deep stretch stimulus. This might be the most underused high-impact biceps exercise out there. Most lifters skip it because it looks awkward. Sitting back on a bench, arms hanging low, trying not to let the dumbbells swing. But here's the truth. That awkwardness, that stretch, that's exactly what makes it so powerful. When you do incline curls, your shoulders are pulled back, which puts your biceps, especially the long head, into a fully stretched position before you even lift the weight. That pre-stretch creates something called passive tension. And passive tension? That's hypertrophy gold. It's one of the fastest ways to spark new muscle growth, especially if your arms have been stuck in maintenance mode for a while. What's wild is how effective this is with less weight. Because the muscle is under load from the very first inch of the movement, you don't need to go heavy to feel it. You just need to do it right. Here's the play. Set your bench to around a 45-degree incline. Let your arms hang naturally at your sides. Keep your elbows back. Don't let them drift forward. Now, curl the weight slowly, without letting your shoulders cheat or your torso move. At the top, squeeze. At the bottom, stretch. And in between, that's where the magic happens. Start with 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Use strict form and focus on the tempo. Try 3 seconds up, pause 1 second at the peak, and 3 seconds down. You'll feel a type of soreness the next day that hits deep. That's how you know it worked. For lifters over 40, this movement is a hidden gem. It gives you maximum stimulus without punishing your elbows or requiring heavy loads. You'll get more out of less, and your joints will thank you. And visually, this is the movement that helps build that long, high biceps peak that gives your arm a striking silhouette from the side. But if you think we've covered it all, the final movement is coming up. It's a brutal, old-school finisher that blends intensity and technique like nothing else. And it just might become your new favorite weapon. Exercise 5. 21s, the controlled burn method. If there's one biceps finisher that's guaranteed to light your arms on fire, it's this one. 21s aren't just a workout, they're a shock system. A protocol designed to hit your biceps from 3 angles in a single, uninterrupted set. The pump is real, the burn is real, and the results? Brutal, if you do it right. Here's how it works. 7 reps from the bottom to halfway. 7 from halfway to the top. Then 7 full-range reps to finish. No breaks. No momentum. Just pure, focused tension. This method doesn't just feel hard. It is hard. You're keeping your muscle under constant stress, shifting the load across different portions of the range of motion. That means more time under tension, more motor unit recruitment, and more metabolic stress, all major triggers for hypertrophy. And here's the kicker. You don't even need a heavy bar. In fact, trying to go heavy ruins it. This isn't about weight, it's about control. Tempo is everything. You want to move slow and deliberate. No bouncing, no racing. Feel each inch of the movement. Let the burn build. That's where the change happens. For more advanced lifters, 21s are the wake-up call your biceps need, especially if you've been lifting for years and feel like you've hit a wall. This breaks plateaus not with volume, but with precision. And if you're dealing with joint pain or tendon stress, 21s are perfect. The reduced load means less strain, but the intensity is still sky-high. You're training smarter, not softer. Try 2 to 3 sets at the end of your workout. Barbell, EZ bar, even cables, doesn't matter. What matters is execution, control, focus, zero ego. Because after this, your biceps won't just feel trained, they'll feel transformed, but there's still one last thing. One principle that can take all 5 of these exercises and make them twice as effective, without touching the weight stack. The tip that multiplies results. Time under tension. The multiplier. Here's a truth most lifters learn way too late. It's not just what you lift. It's how long your muscle fights the resistance. This is called time under tension, and it might be the most overlooked tool in your entire training arsenal. Think about it. You've been chasing more weight, more reps, more sets. But what if the real breakthrough doesn't come from adding more? It comes from slowing down? Every curl you do, barbell, hammer, preacher, incline, even 21s, becomes twice as effective when you stretch out the rep. 3 seconds up. Hold at the peak for 1. 4 seconds down. You don't even need to change exercises. You just change the way you move. Suddenly, the same weight feels heavier. Your muscles start screaming halfway through the set. And your results? They start catching up to your effort. Especially after 40. This becomes a game changer. Why? Because your joints can't take constant overload like they used to. But your muscles? They can still be pushed, if you use the right strategy. This method protects your elbows, preserves your shoulders, and still delivers a ridiculous pump. It gives you the intensity without the injury risk. And most importantly, it makes every rep count. Think of your muscle like a rope. If you yank it quickly, there's barely any wear. But if you pull it slowly, keep it stretched under control. That's when real breakdown happens. And in the gym, controlled breakdown, muscle growth. Start with just one exercise. Try incline curls with this technique. 3 seconds up, 1 second hold, 3 seconds down. Do it for 3 sets, moderate weight, and watch your biceps respond like it's day 1 again. Once you feel the difference, you'll want to apply it to everything. Time under tension isn't a gimmick. It's a mindset shift. It turns you from a lifter into a sculptor. And now that you've got the 5 best biceps builders and the strategy to multiply their effect, you're ready to start training on a whole new level. Let's be real. Everybody wants bigger arms, biceps with shape, with thickness, with that look of strength even under a t-shirt. But most lifters aren't willing to face the truth. The way you've been training might be the exact reason you're not growing. And no, it's not because you don't care. It's because the fitness world is loud, full of noise, gimmicks, and distractions. New secret exercises, viral shock techniques, magic supplements, and somewhere in the chaos, the basics, the stuff that actually works, gets lost. But not for you, because now you know the truth. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things better. It's about 5 proven movements, smart programming, clean execution, and a strategy that respects your body, especially after 40. If you made it this far, it's because you're serious about this. Serious about training better, getting stronger, and finally building arms that match your effort. No filters, no fluff, just real results, built rep by rep with purpose. And the best part? It's simple. So simple. Most people ignore it. But not you. So now I want to hear from you. What's the one thing you're changing in your training after this? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and I reply to as many as I can. If this video gave you at least one aha moment, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let's keep building this together. Your support helps me keep showing up and putting out content that actually helps real lifters like you. And don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with your training partner who's stuck spinning his wheels. Send it with a "watch this and thank me later," because sometimes that's all it takes to unlock the next level.